Let me see what's happening here. Anything happening? What the hell is going on here? Oh, okay, that's not working. We're having a spaz attack now. Right, I think that's working now. It is. Apologies, folks. A little bit of gremlins. Ta-da! Okay, oh, better mute that. That's muted. Can you hear me all right? Any problems with the sound or anything like that? Good, good, good. Man, I wish I could get rid of that delay nonsense. That kind of annoys me a wee bit. But, yes, hello, ladies. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream. I'm in the process of doing a few things, so I thought to myself, do you know what? I'll go live and I'll just let everybody know to be aware, to look out for some videos are going to be dropping pretty soon. It'll be informative videos. I was going to post one today. I sat and worked on it, and then I realized about the new guidelines, and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I need to make a few wee changes here before I put this one out, because there's going to be a few crybabies in that video. So I thought to myself, I make a few wee changes. But yeah, so I thought we'll do a wee stream. I'll have a wee catch up. What's going on in the world of YouTube? Playground for the crazies, because that is definitely what this place is. Playground for the crazies. I've heard the phrase YouTube psychosis be coined. It's Wake Night's claim to fame, of course. He came up with this. He coined it originally, apparently. I think he actually did, but you know, it's fairly stuck. It's making its way around the YouTube channels, and everybody's talking about psychosis. Skunk movement. It depends on what your channel name is. Jennifer Sweet. Are you not one of Betty's buddies? I can't stop now anyway, and I can't change it now anyway. You'll have to wait. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of people jumping off that ship, Jenny. Um, seems to be a lot of people who've turned their back on her. But that's another day. That's just another day on YouTube. I mean, listen, that lady was outrageous uh, in her claims, and she was debunked. And you know, she decided to dox people. But the thing is, the whole thing about the docs, it didn't come from unknowns. We know who the docs come from. Bit of a shame that people were trusted and they actually gave that information out to Betty. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about Betty. We're going to talk about YouTube psychosis. Oh my word, they're really trying to plug YouTube psychosis. They're trying to tell you you're mentally ill, folks, because you're on YouTube. If you're watching a YouTube, folks, you're video about flat Earth because you're mentally ill. You've got psychosis. You're delusional. Now, in all fairness, I can't. There is some things I do agree with the guys with. I do agree with them on some matters. There is idiots on here that are without a doubt bullshitting their way through life. Maybe doing it for attention. Maybe don't have much attention at home. Maybe they don't have much at home life. Full stop. But they come to YouTube, they start a wee channel. People give them attention, and they're like, "Whoa!" So they start coming up with all these. Here, Pie Man, I want to ask you: are you round or flat? So yeah, I watched a wee bit of a live stream the other night. It was an interesting one. I'm not afraid to name names. Apparently, Lee Veltman doesn't want to name names. But anyway, Lee Veltman was on OG stream the other night. And they were going through the motions about all these little pockets of YouTube, all these different conspirator theories that they call it. And, flat tards, Q tards, they call them. And how everybody's so thick and stupid and for sucking this stuff in. And it's almost like they try and shame you because you've watched some of this stuff. And you know, but at the same time, these guys, Lee Veltman will tell you himself, he's been watching YouTube for like 3 or 4 years now. Every corner of it, he has knowledge of it. Um, doesn't do any content videos, I don't believe, but goes on a lot of live streams, various different channels. But you know, my answer to that is simple, folks. YouTube is a fantastic platform. Uh, for the everyday person, I mean, probably about 95% of people who do YouTube are trying to make a bit of money on it, or they're sharing their interests or bits of their life, or things like that there. And like everything else in life, you're going to have people come along and take advantage of it. And as we've all seen over the last couple of years, that is exactly what's been happening. Seems to be coming to a wee bit of a head now. Um, and it's just fascinating how, everything's debunked now, everything's ridiculous, everybody's, all these conspiracies are, bullshit and all that there. Where, as I would kind of like to put it simply as when you come to YouTube, when you watch a video, and should it be something about, let's say, flat Earth? Because flat Earth is kind of a non-offensive topic. Okay, nobody's going to, hey Toto, what's up, girl? No one's going to get too offended because you've talked about flat Earth. They might get triggered, but it's hardly something to get offensive about. But the whole flat Earth thing, come about because somebody come up with questions and put them on a video and asked everybody these questions, pointed these questions out, and tried to answer them. And flat Earth was born. That's what they will have you believe, but it's not really because flat Earth has always been. There's always been a flat Earth society. There's always been one. It's been there for like flipping hundreds of years, basically. There's always been the proponent of people questioning whether the freaking Earth was, a globe, or whether it was flat, whether it's stationary, whether it rotates, whether it's sat at an offset, all this stuff. And I personally, what interested me about flat Earth is not so much, I didn't believe the world was a globe or anything like that there, but it was the fact that people were genuinely going out and doing experiments. It's the only part of the community, it's only part of YouTube in the so-called drift community, where I've seen people actively get up off their arse, go outside, and try and do experiments to see if they can prove or disprove, a theory. And it's not, flat Earth isn't just about, oh, it's flat or it's a globe. It's not just as black and white. There's all these like theories, quantum physics, all these other freaking stuff going on around. Like we're not the center of the universe, whereas before we thought we were the center of the universe. Now they say we're not. You know, we revolve around the sun. The sun doesn't revolve around us. Things like that there. And people have been going about and doing, doing wee tests, doing investigations, and showing people the results, whether they're right or wrong. And that is one of the fascinating things. That is one of the most successful things I think that has been about the whole flat Earth um, topic on YouTube is that so many people have got involved. So many people, have tried to prove or disprove, and it hasn't got stuck on the same, the same. Uh, it's not just about, oh, there's an ice wall, but we can't go there type thing to prove it, and you can't disprove it. They come up against an obstacle and they look for another way, or they look at this. One of the things was the whole mirage, being able to see buildings 60 miles away that you shouldn't be able to see. People say it's a mirage, and These people have been shown actually it's not a mirage, and they've been trying to prove it, albeit they can't do it on a larger scale. So they've been doing smaller scale and things like that there. But and then you've got those cameras, then Nikon cameras. Um, the zoom in them things is like wow. I mean that must, if you're a flat earther, you have to have one of them in your toolkit. I don't have one. I would like to have one because Scotland's just across the road from me, basically. With a Nikon P900, I'd be able to see a guy 12 miles away, no problem. And apparently, I shouldn't be able to see him. But I think now I'm not here to talk about flat Earth or in the sense of I'm promoting it or in that sense. What I'm saying is this is an area of YouTube where Freddie and Lee and OG or and others are you know saying everybody's fucking crazy, it's bullshit, fucking shills, calling artists and all the rest of it. And maybe there is some people taking advantage of it, but you can't dismiss, the hundreds of people that are going about from their day to day life outside, trying to experiment, trying to get answers to questions that none of us really have. And the only real thing, be honest with you, that kind of interests me about it all is that, you know, they have not shown us a picture of Earth that isn't CGI. Can't find one, and that's the thing that gets me. It's like, wow, okay. They can't do a 24 live stream on, you know, the space stations, pointing the camera down the Earth to show us. Everything's always broken and stuff. So that type of thing kind of interested me. It was like, wow, okay. And I think that's what really gave the flat Earth thing a lot of momentum was off the back of people not believing those guys went to the moon. Um, a lot of people don't believe that. That's another conspiracy, and then it takes you to Mars and all the rest of it, you know, and then of course you get the blue chicken. Lee talks a lot about the blue chicken. Apparently it's just a joke, but I know different. It's his wee way of time stamping chats. Let's start. So I just think it's interesting how, 6 months ago, and I've learned a whole lot of new things too, by the way, that I didn't know before since the last time I spoke to you. I've learned things about these people I didn't know before that makes me all the more fucking suspicious about them. Um, but I haven't how would I put this? I've just been kind of sitting in the background, just watching to see what people are doing and what they're getting on with. And there was an interesting one there about a week and a half ago or a week ago, where FK and Freddie, excuse me, get a drink. He puts up a video, basically calling out a call for an uprising, and he puts his video out, and within like 10 hours of him putting his video out, and this is a point that I want you all to remember because this is going to be something that comes up in one of these videos that I put up over the next few days. And he puts this up, and within 10 hours, a whole series of channels put out content along the same lines as, you know, Freddie calling out a call for an uprising. Now, I don't listen to call for an uprising. I kind of think he's taking a wee bit of advantage of things myself, but each to their own. I mean, YouTube's a journey that it's your own personal thing, and nobody should be there making you feel like you're some sort of freaking mentally challenged person because you watch these channels and maybe haven't quite realized what's going on or seen the bigger picture about things. But with when Freddie put his video out, the next thing I Spy put a video out, he deleted his, of course. China put out a video out. Now we know Freddie loves China. Um, Funny enough, I'm not sure if I mentioned it the last time or if China was caught basically. What would you call uh, doing sexual acts during a live stream under his duvet? Freddie was he was lying back and watching that. Mind blowing. Nobody seems to talk about that too much. I can't believe nobody's talking about that. Oh, it's sick. Imagine that door. Yeah. China the three. So, disgusting and Freddie watching on. But, you'd be surprised at how deep these people's relationships go. Uh, I mean, OG and Freddie, I was always under the standing that these guys already knew each other, like 3 or 4 months before um, the whole Dave T thing broke. But I've since realised, actually, no, that's not true. There were buddies for well over like a year and a half, nearly 2 years. Close enough to the fact that OG would call Freddie brother. So, I mean, that's not just a wee, I bumped into his channel. Because I can remember Freddie recommended OG to us all. That's how I find OG. But then Freddie done the same for me. Freddie promoted my channel. So did Chandler. Chandler promoted my channel as well. I've told everybody before, Chandler actually named my channel Scooby Doo. Which in hindsight, Scooby Doo, Fred, Mystery Machine. Although I came up with a Mystery Machine, that was all me. Um, but this attack, it actually, as I said, we had Freddie put one up, I Spy put one up, Tidor put one up, Loose Cannon put one up, Incognito put one up, as I say, Canada, a couple of other people put one up. I don't want to name them because these people I've never had any interaction with, and I don't want to be coming across as if I'm, being an asshole or anything like that towards him. Because, as I said, I've had no interaction with these guys whatsoever, so I'm not going to draw them into the same thing. But other videos were put up at the same time, and they, you know, a call for an uprising. He responded, and the next thing they're all doing live streams together with a call for an uprising. I'm like, how fucking crazy strange is this? You know, Freddie gets around. All he has to do is make a call out video on a channel with like 400 subs, 400,000 subs, sorry. 400,000 subs, and he's got like multiple. And the guy comes along and does a live stream of all these small channels. It's just interesting, but you know, I find it a wee bit strange that the likes of Loose Cannon and Tidor at Incognito, who will put up videos against Freddy or OG or China or something like that, there. Yet when Freddy puts out a topic that he wants to promote, Tidor, Loose Cannon, and Incognito fall into line and make videos supporting Freddy's request. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds a little bit. Are people playing games here? Eh, who knows? But it's just interesting, and basically the focus, why they're focusing on a call for an uprising, seems to be because he talks about the Illuminati and Hollywood, music videos promoting satanic imagery and stuff like that. There, all that, and that's kind of what he kicks off on a regular basis. He's got Patreon, of course. I don't know if he's got ads. He probably does, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say he does. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, so they're going after him basically because he had joined a Unirock live stream, and apparently he was informed about Dave T. And he said he would look into it. And after they came out making their videos about a call for an uprising, not talking about DFT, refusing to talk about DFT and whatnot, um, he basically came back at them and said, "Why would I listen to you? Why would I do what you tell me what to do?" You know, well, it's quite right. Why is he? Why does he have to do what is demanded of him? Now, I'm going to set Freddie a wee challenge. I know, gee. They like to say that I sold out the gunk. Call me a piece of shit, say I was sucking gunk's dick. Shit like that. But I would ask him, prove it. Show the evidence. Show me one bit of evidence. Now, I've already debunked you long ago. I proved that I hadn't. But let's see us come up with that one, because that'll be an interesting video. Um, Yeah, the whole uni rock thing. Let's start. Here's what I do know is that when I was not here at the time in the turn of the new year, and a couple of channels, the bigger channels, started talking about DFT. Well, Freddie and the boys had arranged that in the background that they would stop harassing them if they put a video out. So that's exactly what they did. They put a video out, and OG wasn't happy with it, and he kept on harassing. And then, of course, as you know, Jamie started to get trolled. They called his workplace. And, you know, I used to hear Truth Convoy. I used to hear that woman talk about gangs on YouTube. And I used to listen to her talk about Freddy's biker gang. And of course, she included me in that. Now, I thought it was a bit of a joke at the beginning because at that stage, I thought she was a nice old lady, basically, that was getting picked on. I was gravely mistaken, as many of you know what she is and what she does on this platform. But there was one thing she was right about, and that is the gangs. I'm 100% sure about that there, because Freddie and his buddies are showing the symptoms of gang stalkers. They are shown behaviour of going round and basically gang stalking other channels. They done it to me, but they didn't really do it directly. And here's the funny thing: since I last spoke to you, I can now prove, and you'll see this in the videos coming up. Now they mightn't stay up long because I imagine these people will probably strike them. But I can now prove that along with Freddie, OG, China, I Spy, and a few others were conspiring to get rid of me from the group long before I ever turned round and said about, you know, calling Freddie out. That they had came up with a narrative and they worked with that narrative, and I can prove it. And so that'll be another aspect that'll show up. I'll be able to show you who worked, who done what, and when it was done, and you know, basically a conspiracy in itself. So yeah, and it's not just me. They've done it in other people too. They keep on going after the same people. Not all the time. They drop it in there. And I've noticed wee things done where somebody puts a video up, and you know, I Spy put one up and he deleted it, and the title of it turned out to be somebody's birthday, you know, and that was a little message for somebody else, and that's what they like to do. They put little messages. They have messages within their videos for others, but yes, there's quite a large brotherhood of trolls. People working in the background together who've been aligned together for quite a few years. And people like me came along, you know, just somebody pretty much like Oliver's in there, you know, watches a few YouTube channels, got outraged and made a video. Now I did make a claim in one of my other videos about you know, OG, you know, the video, the whole research thing. OG did come back at it and said, just look at the dates, and he was right. OG put his video out before I put mine out. But all that OG had done was actually he just, you know, showed the guys basically his record, and that was it. It was actually me who went and done the research, and I showed everybody the research with that first video. But you know, that's nonetheless doesn't matter. He was praising me the other night. He said I did some good work, and then when I made a comment, he says I'm a piece of shit. Oh no, Kenobi, there's no bitterness with me, mate. Definitely not. I've seen what yous are. I know what yous are doing, my friend. Yeah, I suffer from YouTube psychosis, eh? Obi-Wan. No. Uh, yous are all being watched. People are taking notes, OG1. People are paying attention to what yous are doing. As I said, I can prove what I'm talking about. How about you prove that I sold out to Mr. Gunk? Now, funnily enough about Mr. Gunk, here's another little bit of information we didn't know about. The whole time with the Mr. Gunk thing, Freddie was outraged. Freddie never once mentioned to anybody that, oh yeah, I'm mod for Mr. Gunk's channel. Freddie never mentioned that anywhere. I never saw him mention that there. It never come up until Jamie Deluxe called him on it. So there we go. Freddie is buddies with Mr. Gunk. I mean, I always wondered at the time, whenever he came off of that phone call with out of the blue with Mr. Gunk, I was like, how the fuck did he do that? How did he manage to get Mr. Gunk come and talk to him? Well, sure, they're brothers, they're buddies. Freddie's been his mod. Oh, it was just for a short while, was it? I don't know. We've only got Freddie's word for it, and we know what Freddie is. So, yeah. And there he's sitting telling me that I suck Gunk's fucking dick. Freddie's his fucking mod. If Freddie's Freddie, eh? Likes to watch the boys. But anyway, so, you know, and then you have Freddie demanding that I hand over my video about Gunk, which it didn't do, and it wasn't going to. And now I'm like, okay, Gunk struck me, and Gunk struck me quick. But he didn't strike Freddie, and Freddie had the same video up, but Freddie took his down. Nobody's creating drama, OG. You don't have to be here, mate. You can leave anytime you want. Don't let that psychosis take over you, son. I mean, we know mental illness runs in the family. So it kind of puts a different perspective of things when you start to realize that these people have all been in fucking each other's pockets for a long time in the background and streaming with each other, modding for each other, and then they come out with the little fucking nonsense. And people like me, many people in the chat get dragged into it, unbeknownst. I mean, here, tell me this, OG, how long do you know Freddie? What about that one? How long do you know Freddie, OG? When did you first meet Freddie? Oh, gee, son, you wouldn't kick my ass, mate. You wouldn't fucking stand fucking 2 minutes in front of me, boy. You're just a boy, pretend to be a man, hiding in his fucking daddy's bedroom. You like to talk about me having fucking track marks up my arm and fucking all the rest of it. Aye. But that one's out of bounds. We'll not talk about that. Huh? You're so angry. Normally it's the women you attack. It's nice to see. No, I'm just curious. How long have you known Freddie? I'm a fat slob. Uh, Not really. I'm 6'1" and I'm 15 stone. Work at it. My BPN ain't too bad. Actually, OG, you're just one of the few characters. One of the playground for the crazies. So if you want to put yourself in there, no problem. You're the one to come in crying to my channel. You don't have to be here. You can leave anytime you want. Or maybe this is, is this the disruption that you were talking about on your channel the other night, accuse people of doing to you, but you actually go around our channels and do to them. So, OG, son, you had your chance. I dropped you link after link, and all of a sudden it didn't work, but that was my fault. I tell you what, OG, I want to prove that I sold out. Away and go and prove that instead of your lies and your little nonsense and your games, because that's all you've got. So back to what I was talking about. These people are going around ganging up, you know, even claiming the FBI is involved, police involved, and things like that there. But you know, but my attitude about YouTube is it's a fantastic platform. It really is a good platform because you get to share your thoughts with anybody who wishes to come and listen. And you know, for just some crazy Irish guy sitting on the internet talking to a computer, plenty of people seem to want to come and listen. And of course, I get my thumbs down like everybody else. I get my thumbs up. Lee, I tell you what, I don't know how you can hang with the people who done the treats what they done. I don't know how you can hang about with Canada and Freddie and all that there. I mean, OG and treats go back a long time. OG dropped them like a hot brick, just like they did with me, just like they did with Kick. Do you remember that when you went after the women, OG, picking on women? Yeah, I mean, imagine recording the guy's call and then freaking putting it out on the YouTube after triggering him. I mean, I'm no angel in life, I've done some pretty crappy things in life too, but holy crap, that is fucking low. That is lowest of the low. Uh, you know, but to walk about as if they went about and did their business, had their wee LARP, you know. Freddie was scared, he had to move. He was doxxed, but it wasn't really a dox. So when it comes to YouTube, what would I would say to people on YouTube, people watching YouTube channels, people who come along and bump into my channel and stop by to listen, if a subject interested you, sit and watch it, learn about it. If you're into watching stuff about anti-Zionism, or if you're into watching stuff about flat Earth or blue chickens, things like that, there, don't let arseholes put you off. Because the only reason why you learn in life is by listening to other people. You don't have to believe it. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person because you're watching a few videos on A, B, and C. I like to watch the ancient Egyptian videos and stuff like that there, where people are discussing all the. I mean, because there's so many different theories about who built the pyramids, how the pyramids were built, when they were built. You know, there's so many different theories. There's a lot of discussions out there, and there's actually a lot of good videos and content creators out there working on stuff like that. There, and it's fascinating. I mean, even stuff like the reptilians. It's fascinating to watch. Some people have got some crazy ideas. It's fascinating to watch, you know. And they're going to turn around and call them a liar and try and shame them and stuff like that. There, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, everybody's entitled to do whatever they want to do. Really, if they start crossing the line where it's, I've even kind of lightened up a wee bit on my ideas about the money thing. I've kind of said to myself, do you know what? If people want to believe that and want to support it, it's up to them. It's not my money. It's not coming out of my pocket. Yeah. Why should I lose any sleep over it? I mean, the truth community is never going to be what it used to be. It's going to keep on evolving. But at some point, there will be a reset where, because, history always repeats itself, it goes round in circles. Empires have been and gone. And it's not that I would promote anybody. I don't condone anybody using truth to make money. I don't think that's right, to be honest with you. But if people are doing it and they're genuinely doing it because they think they're on to something, well, I mean that's up to them and it's up to their subscribers if that's they want to support them. But then when you have other channels who are deliberately going out and putting bullshit up, channels like Lift the Veil, you know, that are working the subs along with people like Cappy and Vegan Mickey and stuff like that there. Doing that there, I mean, that's disgraceful. That shit should be reported. I mean, that type of stuff, I think the cops should be involved, because I think that is a mass um, con job there going on. But, you know, again, I'm not the American police. So what can I do? So it's surprising the little things that you learn by accident. Somebody just says something or points out something, and you pick these wee things up. But I've thought to myself, and I've said before, Denise has a habit of hiding the truth, mixing the truth, not hiding the truth, mixing truth with her fucking bullshit. And I do believe she's right about the gangs. And I would class OG and Lee Veltman, fucking Freddy, China, and their other wee groupies as part of a gang that are going around stalking YouTube channels, that are harassing YouTube channels, that try to take YouTube channels down. I mean, I've had quite a few videos made about me, and it's not so much the videos need to be true. They don't have to, it doesn't even matter really what the video is. It's the fact of the matter that there's a videos are out there just to put you in a bad light. So at some point down the line, 6 months time, when you've had a few subscribers come your way, etc., like that, there, and if somebody says something and they do a wee We search because somebody has suggested something in the chat, and then they come up with all these ridiculous vids. Now, there's absolutely no all these claims that are made. There's nothing to back it up with. But it is what it is, and that's what it's set out to do. It's set to stunt your growth. That's what these people are doing on YouTube. They're trying to stunt your growth. You're trying to make sure you don't get anywhere. You remember when I used to do Wanker of the Week? Uh, Majority of the time, that was a bit of fun. Everybody seemed to have a good laugh and a joke at that there. But people started trying to stunt my growth, and it wasn't the channels who ended up being the Wanker of the Week. It was the channels around me that were doing it. But there you go. You learn something new. You live, you learn. So I mean, this is typical. This is typical. Gang stalking behavior that OG is perpetrating here. He's in disrupting the chat. He's making sure people are caught up in what he's saying. He's trying to keep the subject into abuse and trigger people. I mean, this is what they do, folks. This is what they go around doing. They go around trying to trigger you, trying to get you to bite so they can make some more videos about you, etc. OG has accomplished nothing, you know. He got some guy to do a couple of articles about him that half of it was lies, but the guy wouldn't put the third one up. He probably started looking a little bit deeper and caught on what's going on around him, or maybe somebody was speaking to him. So yeah, this is what they do. It's funny because they were in OG did a live stream the other night about this very subject, about people disrupting your chat. Coming in deliberately to disrupt your channel, and here he is along with Lee Veltman doing the very same thing. I don't stalk you. I get to stalk you. You put your stuff up publicly, you idiot. What are you on about? I'm not stalking you. If you don't want me to watch it, put it private, please. But yeah, see, there you go. It's all about wee games with them. They'll spill their eyes out. I don't have to try and make you look bad. You do it yourself, OG. I mean, any normal thinking person reading your comments now will be looking at it and going, "Wow, that guy, what a dick." Scooby's got the patience of a saint. Saint Scooby, eh? No, it's interesting time, folks. And as I said, this is just a wee catch up with what the playground for the crazies have been doing over the last wee while. I never mentioned your brother, OJ. What are you talking about? No, OJ, I'm not building the show on you. You keep on inserting yourself into my show. You keep inserting yourself. But it's all right. I'll get rid of you now. Don't worry about it. And just for the record, that would be that would be me that is removed. OG. I never mentioned anything about your brother OG. I said mental illness runs in the family. Uh, unless your brother is your dad, is he? I don't know. So you know, yeah, man. OG, you're up making videos. You're waking up out of your sleep and making videos. There was one you did there not too long ago, about a month ago, where like you woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and made a video about me. I don't know. But you're a manic depressive, OG, the way your behavior looks, you know. You kind of display those tendencies, you know. You're coming around here trying to gang stalk me, man, trying to trigger me, trying to change, you know, become the center of attention. You're right, you have become the center, so uh, we'll just say cheerio to you, OG, because I had no time for you, man. This head user, head user, bye bye. All OG's messages deleted by Scooby Doom. That would be me, not any of the other mods, just me. So, anyway, back to what I was talking about. So, I've noticed a pattern going on and a lot of behaviors going on, and that's what I'm going to be presenting in my series of videos that will be coming out pretty shortly. Uh, I think people will find it interesting, and I believe it'll start making a whole lot more sense to everybody on what's going on around here. And I mean, all of these people, you know, not just OG and Freddie, but others, they go way back with each other and they're all tied in together. It's all just an absolute mess in this whole YouTube thing. Like, but I mean, personally, I'm just going to put my couple of wee videos out, show people what I found. Um, and then I'm going to start actually talking about real things, you know, real issues that's going on. Um, you know, I see a lot of. I believe I can be. I can sit. You know, I can be non-biased. You know, I can believe I can talk about a subject and not be biased either way about it. Or should I say, hide my own personal feelings from it, keep my own personal feelings from it, so it doesn't distort the message or what you're trying to show people. I think there's nothing wrong in the world with people learning together. I mean, there is a wee bit of a journey going on. There is things that I've learned that I've come to realize. The whole Freemason thing, I didn't know too much about Freemasons at all until, you know, a few years ago, basically. And I never really looked into it. You know, of course, you keep on hearing about Illuminati, Illuminati, Illuminati. Well, as most of you know who are watching or listening, whatever, um, I'm from Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland historically, well, Ireland has played a huge part in the political journey of the world, full stop. The politics of the world. Quite a few presidents have come out of Ireland, North and South, in America. Um, I think the oldest Mason lodge, Freemasons, is the Irish one, continual one. I think the English one was the first, but it was, I think there was a moment in time where it wasn't used or whatever, but I believe the Irish one is the oldest one that's been continuously involved in the picture. But the thing about it is, obviously, I live in Northern Ireland and things aren't too far away. My whole country could fit in most of your counties that you live in America. The states you live in, my goodness, are your individual state is bigger than our country. So I mean, I can literally go on a 2 hour drive and be at some historical site that has relevance. Uh, the Freemasons, I don't understand a whole lot about them myself, but it does interest me because I've heard a lot of people talk about them. And if you do a little bit of research, you'll soon find out that it's one of the biggest topics to be talked about on the internet. Never mind YouTube, on the internet. There's so many videos made about it daily. Um, about the Freemasons, Illuminati, and the history of it, and all this. And then, of course, the waters get muddied because people have their other ideas and they portray those other ideas onto their channels, and a lot of things get misinterpreted as well. So it's one of the things that I would like to take a look at because I can be boots on the ground. I don't have to go to somebody else's video and hope that they're telling me the truth, or hope that they're being honest at least, that there's something real about it. I can actually jump in my car and drive down the road and get to these places and show you them. I did get myself a nice camera there a while back, and I've never got to use it properly yet. Uh, and I'd said before, I'd like to get taking some photographs of places around, show people and whatnot. But I would like to be able to, um, you know, photograph these people, places and whatnot, and give people a visual presentation of what's actually here. Because that's the thing about America. The history isn't that old. And that's not to try and I'm not knocking America or anything like that there. But you can only go so far back. And a lot of channels don't go any further back, you know, than the last 100 years. And really, to understand, I believe anyway, what's going on today is you really have to start looking at history of the Europeans, because it was the Europeans that, basically made America. It was actually, I think it was 1705 or something, 210,000 Presbyterian Freemasons, families, the whole shaboodle, um, went to America and basically they set down the foundations back in the early 1700s. And then, of course, things moved on from there. So the Irish, there's a huge population of Irish in America, and there's a huge population of Ulster, what they call Ulster Scots in America as well. And basically, what they are is Scottish people who uh, moved to America, not America, sorry, moved to Northern Ireland, which was known as Ulster. It's there's like Ireland is broke up into like 4 states and then counties after that. and one of the main ones is Ulster. Ulster is 6 counties. It used to have more. I think it was 9 it had. The 3 of them were dropped, but that's a whole other story there. So these people were came from Scotland, settled in Ulster, farmed in Ulster, and then basically like answered the call and went to America. And you'll find that it's a really strange thing about it. The whole thing about the Civil War and in America and slavery and whatnot is the Ulster Scots. Um, they tended to move and live in the southern states in America. You know, they were the cotton plantations and things like that there, and the Irish, the Southern Irish, they tended to end up in the northern states of America building. You know, I mean, a lot of Chicago was built by the Irish, New York was built by the Irish. You know, and so the whole Civil War thing. You know, you had the Southern Irish in the northern part of America, and you had the Northern Irish in the southern part of America involved in the Civil War. And it's just interesting because I've been watching all these videos about, you know, Zionism and the GDL and how the Jews, the bankers, and things like that there. And, you know, people talk about the Rothschilds in the, it's the 1800s. Was that the 1800s? Um, but there was bankers way before that. You know, there was bankers in the 1300s, 1700s. So I'm kind of looking into a lot of things, and I'm starting to understand a wee bit more that the Catholic Church really does have a significant role. Um, there is a group. Oh my goodness, what were they called? They're in Connecticut. Knights of, oh shit, what were they called? Mm, what did I call them? They're not Knights of Malta. They're the Knights of freaking. Renee, do you remember? Yeah, that's it. Knights of Columbus, Lee. That's them guys. And them guys are basically they've been described by Pope Francis himself as the right arm of the Catholic Church. And you know, they're not just like a lodge. They're actually quite powerful. A lot of money, hedge funds, things like that there, and huge financial clout in what's going on as well. And Knights of Columbus are like they are a group of people that you never really hear talked about. People just say Illuminati, Freemasons. Well, what they don't realize is back in the the Revolution in America, when Freemasonry had started up and foundations had been set down, other people set up similar types. They weren't necessarily Freemasons, but they observed what the Freemasons done, and they wanted to be brought into the saw as Freemasons, and that's why you've got all. I think they eventually were brought in, uh, and that's why you've got so many kind of like different weird traditions within these lodges and funny names is where you've got, some people wearing, some of these will wear an apron or some of them will wear a sash, things like that. There, nothing seems to be uniform the whole way down, and there's splinter groups of it. And the Knights of Columbus are certainly a splinter group. And you know, when people talk about Israel and Jerusalem, no one ever talks about the Church of Rome owning all those buildings in Israel, Jerusalem. Nobody ever talks about that. In fact, the only channel I actually heard talking about that was Titus Frost. Believe it or not, it's one of the more interesting things he's actually put out. He doesn't always. Not. I don't mean I'm promoting him or anything like that. There, he does talk a lot of nonsense sometimes about crap that he can't prove, but he does talk sense and show evidence about other subjects, and that was one of the subjects he did show. He did talk about, and he showed the evidence on it. Um, these buildings have like 100-year leases and stuff like that there, and you know what you don't realize is that like say I was to set out a plan for like, oh, okay, world domination, I want to take over the world. I mean, how long would that take to happen? It certainly wouldn't be done in my lifetime. And really, the only type of like organization that I can see that has been a constant, an absolute constant throughout history, the last 2,000 years, who could have any types of means to be able to control people in general, the New World Order is a talk of, to be able to come up with all that crap is Church of Rome, basically. And that's not to say that every single chapel, things like that there is involved in this, and everybody who follows Catholicism is involved in this. No, of course it's not. It's likewise. People tend to get on YouTube here. People will get picked on because of a channel to follow. I get 36 people watching me at the minute now, but not all 36 people will interact in the chat. Not all 36 people will leave a comment afterwards. And 9 out of 10 times, the reason for that is they know full well that if they make comments, somebody will be watching, and there's a likelihood that they could get attacked just for showing up and putting a comment in my chat, maybe a comment of agreement or whatever. And it's kind of, they haven't done anything wrong. They're not a supporter of me. They're just sitting watching, and maybe I've hit a nerve in the head, hit a nerve there, and they're like, "Oh, flip by," and they want to express their opinion. They maybe just hold back from that because they realize I've got people like FK and Freddie and OG and all freaking who have no problem putting out shit content about myself. Not directly, they use others for that, like Liz Cannon and Tidor. Uh, you all remember my Australian friend, um, talking about me being a being a junkie and all. I was sitting in the dark because of needle marks up my arm and all that stuff. But I mean, you remember that? Well, that guy was an Australian. He still hangs around OG's channel. They still like each other's comments and have a laugh about me and all the rest of it. Like, they just troll you. Tito's Australian, that guy's Australian. They set up these wee ruse where they don't, they're fighting each other or they're outing each other. But it's all nonsense. They're all buddies in the background. They're all buddies in the background. You know? I mean, if they weren't buddies, why wouldn't Freddie say that he was a mod for Mr. Gunk? How come Freddie was able to get the access to Mr. Gunk that myself couldn't get, or OG couldn't get, or whoever couldn't get? Interesting. I think it's just all just it's like a soap opera type thing, you know. So all to keep everybody, all to keep people distracted and from, you know, they don't want people coming under and kind of like agreeing on a topic or starting to see the way of the thing. They don't want that. People always wonder, well, how come there's no new channels ever come up? Why do no new channel? Why is it always Lift the Veil and Titus Frost and why is it always the same channels and you can't get any people like me can't get noticed. Why is that? Well, folks, you've seen how my channel went, how I was treated, and that's what they're here to do. They're here to curb your growth, stunt your growth. They'll come in and disrupt your chat. They pull these moves. I mean, I did watch. I watched OG's live stream the other night. I didn't disrupt his chat. I just sat and watched it. He mentioned me. He mentioned me in this, and I didn't get all. Oh, why are you talking about me? No, I just let him go on. I no interest in playing their games. So they control who gets promoted. Now, of course, I'm not one of these channels who's got 10,000 subscribers but gets 25 views on a video, i.e., I paid for my subs. I haven't done that, obviously. Um, it's just a waste of money. I don't understand why people do that. Maybe it makes them feel better about themselves. But yeah, there's a lot of I feel like the truth community has taken a real hit because of the crazy conspiracies that have been you know divisive amongst the community that paint the community in the bad light, like that guy Liam Maxwell going and doing what he done. There's no need for that guy to behave like that and do what he done, but it did highlight, you know, the bullshit going on YouTube, and you've seen new guidelines and whatnot. And he's not the other YouTuber. He's not the only YouTuber to fall off the wagon. That's another during the YouTube psychosis promotion. It's they're trying to say that it's Q's fault because such and such a channel went out and committed some horrible crime, or because they listened to Q, what Q was doing. Things like that there. I'm not a proponent of Q either. I don't follow Q, I have no interest in Q. So I couldn't tell you whether if Q is real or not. I have no idea because I don't follow it. But, you know, the idea is that somebody has been listening and got brainwashed by Q and they've went out and committed this heinous crime and people should be held responsible for it. Well, let's look at it this way. Um, you know, you lot in America have got the right to bear arms. You can go out and buy a gun from a gun shop. You can buy a gun from Walmart. You can buy a gun basically from anywhere that's licensed to sell guns. And sometimes you have to wait 7 days. Some I think some states it's 5 days, and I think there's even some states you don't have to wait. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that. But ultimately, you can get sold a gun by a gun shop. You then take the gun, you get sold ammunition. If you then go out and rob a bank, is it the gun shop's responsibility because you robbed the bank? Well, he sold me the gun. I couldn't have robbed the bank unless if he hadn't sold me the gun. So it's not my fault. I mean, come on. It's not the friggin' it's not the what do you call it? It's not the gun shop's responsibility, that somebody else used a weapon that they sold to rob a bank or shoot somebody. And that's just kind of the angle that they've been trying to, that they did. OG actually did one on Titus, claiming, that his provocative words, lead to people taking action and hurting somebody and all the rest of it. It's just like, wow. I thought these were all retiring. I thought yous were all going to retire whenever yous had finished with the whole Pizzagate thing. Don't really talk about that anymore for some reason. Uh, they stopped, going after some other things, but so I think because the whole YouTube thing has went a wee bit pear shaped, and sources or channels use other channels as source material, and nobody can really make head nor tail of what the hell is really the truth. They trying to understand it is very misleading, and I would believe anyway that even if the truth is set out in front of you, it's still going to be very hard to understand. So I want to try and friggin' my aim is just to go on my own wee journey and see if I can learn about the Freemasons based on what's around me in my country and based on the history of my country and the Freemasons, and share that with you. Share that with the people who want to watch it on the channel, basically. Now, whether it turns out to be good, you know, or whether, sorry, not whether it be good, whether or not it turns the Freemasons turn out to be good guys, or whether it turn out to be bad guys, or maybe both, I don't know. I've no idea whatsoever. That's not really the aim of it. The aim of it is to try and make sense of it, try and understand it a bit better without getting, a lot of other misguided, misleading information put in there. Um, I actually did come across a couple of months ago. There was an exhibition. The Freemasons in the big library in Belfast itself. There was an exhibition, and I did take photographs at the time of things that were being displayed. It was quite interesting. Like there was nobody talking. There was no like tour or anything like that. There basically it was just all these items, and I took photographs of them. So I hope they do something with that and share that with you and see what people think of it. Um, there's definitely one thing I won't argue, and that is Masons were builders. The Freemasons were builders. I know that, like. Um, but anything else? There's a few other interesting things that I've learned, like. But it's about my own country as well, like. The history books, I've often wondered how much of that can you rely on as truth as well, because as we all know, the victor writes the history books. They write in what they want to write. So you never get a non-biased history. So it's just interesting on can you get to the bottom of it? Can you make sense of it? And I'm hoping we can. I hope we do get some sort of clarity out of it at least. There's another few other things. I find it really strange. Tommy Robinson. a few weeks ago did that panorama thing, takedown Tommy, and where he showed everybody that the media had conspired to take him down. And I seen Unirock do this uh, in a live stream, talk about it in a live stream. Now, he wasn't talking about Tommy Robson as we should follow Tommy and all that other stuff, but he was talking about actually what it meant. And it wasn't surprising to see that when he was trying to, highlight that this is about the media coming out trying to ruin the absolute evidence and proof that the media conspired to ruin this guy's life. It was surprising how the amount of people that were in that room, all they were interested in was saying Tommy Robson's a Zionist. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I mean, regardless of what the guy's political views are or whatever, this guy was able to show and prove that the establishment conspired to take him down and ruin his life, basically. And all people are interested in is, oh, he's a Zionist, or he thinks, uh, there you go, Lauren. He's a Zionist shill. Is he though? You know, because I've seen some videos about him, and they're pure and utter propaganda against him. I don't know what he is. I mean, do you know what is a Zionist anyway? You know, is it a Zionist somebody who believes in a state for Jews or you know a Jewish state? Um, I don't know, but the thing is, whether or not, yeah, he believes. I think he said he believes the Jews should have a right to be in Israel. Basically, I did see there was an interviewer that asked him the question directly, like, and I know it wasn't answered. Yes, I'm a staunch Zionist. I know that much, but that's not my point. My point is, Uni Rock put this out there. He done it on his live stream. He was showing everybody how the establishment went out of their way to ruin this guy. Now, at the time, there was a panorama guy, and at the time, the guy who is the editor, I believe, he turns around and states that his political hero was Martin McGuinness. And wow, crazy that he would say that. But and then it kind of makes you wonder about the mindset. So the fact that all people, oh, he's a Zionist, these people aren't even in Israel. So I mean, what is care? You don't live in Israel. You don't live in Palestine. Like, but the media, you are affected by the media. And the media, the establishment too. They set about to destroy the man. And I just find it fascinating that you know people were more concerned about him being a shell than the actual ramifications of the establishment doing what they've done. Because that could happen to anybody. That could happen to anybody. That could happen to you. That could happen to me. I mean, there's the old saying, nearly everybody in prison is innocent. You know, there is people who are in prison for crimes they did not commit, and they were fitted up. There's a lot of over here. in the 70s, there was it the Brighton Bombers. Um, they had nothing to do with it. Those guys went to life for prison. Served friggin' 20 odd years in prison, and they didn't even do it, but they were fitted up. The establishment fitted them up and sent them to jail for supposedly blowing up a pub in England, and it wasn't there. So I mean, it could happen to you, it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Um, so I mean, that's just one of the wee things, fascinating prospects, or perspectives that I saw. And I take my hat off for Unirock even talking about it, because a lot of channels didn't want to talk about it in that way. You know, most of them just presented Tommy as a shill and the story, and that was it. They really didn't make much of an effort to show what the establishment, the media, were trying to do to the guy. Now, I don't care whether the guy is a leftist or right or extreme right, extreme left, or whatever. If he's not actually committing murders or doing other sick shit in life, don't think anybody deserves that. Like, to be honest with you, just because of your political opinion. I don't know, and I do come. I mean, I come from I come from a country where your political opinion can get you killed, folks, and that's not exaggeration. There you go, the OG show live in Scooby Doo. My goodness, I'm famous. YouTubers are doing live streams, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure Toto, you're from over here. You you'll understand that like politics is never something that anybody over here wants to talk about. Really, like everybody tries to stay away from it. I'm sure you've had somebody ask you where are you from, and you're like, and you give like a broad Belfast. Well, what part of Belfast? You know. So Toto, she knows what I'm talking about. She understands what I mean. It's always like a conversation stopper when somebody goes, "Where are you from?" You're like, "Shit, they're trying to work out where I'm from." Well, I kick with the right or the left. It's fucking crazy. But yeah. So yeah, interesting times. Lift the veil. He had a video out. He's worried about losing his channel. Is reading the comments where people are saying, you know, oh, must be over the target. That old chestnut. You see, listen, in all honesty, I mean, there is things that I do agree with development, OG and Freddie about, etc. Um, but the way they go about their business uh, is not my cup of tea. You're right, Toto. I always just say, yeah, Stroke City. I think they should rename it the Stroke City and just be done with it, leave it like that, and because that would be testament to the whole thing. It's even embarrassing whenever the news programs that There's a news report, and they turn around and say Londonderry slash Derry. It's like, for crying out loud. But I think they had a vote on it. Did they not? Was there not a vote at one stage on it? You know. Here, be the tell folks, and I'm talking with Toto here about Derry slash Londonderry. How you talk about a place over here. If you're out for a night, a few drinks in a pub, maybe you don't know too many people, it's not your regular, you've never been there before, and somebody starts asking you questions like that there, you could find yourself in a black plastic bag in the back of somebody's trunk for answering a question the wrong way. And that's not a joke. And a shit like that still goes on. Yeah, I think the likes of myself and Toto there, we've grown up and watched our country change, and how it's changed, and the effect it's had. Um, if you go now to anyone really under the age of 20, they wouldn't have a clue really about. Most of them think we're all idiots. Most of them think the whole thing to do with the troubles over here. You're absolutely nutcases. What were you thinking of? You mean to tell me you was really friggin' try to kill each other just because of how somebody pronounced the letter H? You know, it, it's uh it's crazy, like, and we've seen the politics every night being driven through the news, through the media, and rallies, and our country hasn't had a government in operation for over 2 years now. We have had no government operating our country for 2 years because they fell out with each other. You know, the unionists fell out with the nationalists fell out with the unionists, and now we have no government. It's crazy. Flipping, you think Trump shutting down government there for 60 days was a big deal? Over 2 years. I think it's the longest shutdown in history. You know, and meanwhile, our healthcare system is going to the wall because money isn't being allocated. You know, the place is an absolute mess. And yet, all our politicians, these politicians who will not sit down together and govern our country, are taking their paychecks every week. They're all on six-figure sums. The time their expenses and all come out of it, they take their paychecks every week, but they won't sit down and govern the country that they were voted in to govern. Our country's a mess in that respect. But the reason is we've still got a lot of the old school politicians running the show, and once they retire, things will hopefully change a bit there. Like, but that's what's happening over here. Like, you know, it's not. It may not be, gunshots being fired off and stuff like that there, like in Venezuela, but there's serious problems that's affecting everybody over here. So it's just crazy when you see other people's perspective who aren't directly involved with a certain circumstance get so angry and get so enraged about somebody's political opinion or it's like why why are you wasting your energy on being so angry about this? Why are you doing it? Like doesn't even affect you. Why are you letting it affect you? Because you can't tell me that when people go off YouTube, maybe they've been sitting watching it get all pumped up and angry. Whenever they put the phone down or whatever, the laptop, then it doesn't affect their mood afterwards. So yeah, YouTube is a fickle place, folks. The guidelines have changed. It's changed now to where you no longer get was it a 3 month ban for your first copyright strike. You get a week, and then I think it's another week. But the third one will be, boom, your channel's taken down. I think that's even a bit abrupt. Like, I don't think you should lose your channel like that. I mean, it doesn't really matter to someone like me, but there is channels. There's a channel I come across that does a history on weapons, guns, forgotten weapons and things like that. There, like over the last couple of centuries, and it's absolutely fascinating. And they'll I think it's an American YouTube like. Uh, they'll talk about different weapons that different security forces around the world use or armies use and things like that. There, it's fascinating, and it seems pretty crap. Like someone like these guys, who are quite informative and quite honest with their content, could turn around and get their channel taken away from them over somebody claiming harassment or bullying. It seems that it seems to me that they've let up on the punishment, but they're making it easier for you to be punished. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But Lift the Veil, he put out a video tonight there, and he was saying he got picked on from videos back in 2016. There was supposed to be a reset, and yet he got hit on with for bullying and harassment on a video going back to 2016, which in the title had something about neo Nazis and fascism. So you don't know what way it's going to work like, but I think it might be easier to take down channels in the long run over this bullying harassment. So that's why I made a point, and I was working on a video, and I got the guidelines pointed out to me about an hour or so before I came online there, and before I started the stream, and I was like, oh, I better go and change a few things here. I better not upload that until I change a few things because, you know, certain people play the victim. But you see, you just want to be around from the video when it comes out anyway. I think you'll enjoy it. It'll definitely put things in perspective for you. It might make a lot of sense. And, You see, one of the biggest things that I've begun to understand about YouTube is there's not there's not like a collective of like 100 people going around and swarming your channel. It's basically only takes a couple of people, and when you understand how it's done, you'll realize it's honestly this is all going to click into place for you, folks, and you're going to be like, "Fuck," you know. And there's a lot of us, including myself. I got caught up in this. There's a lot of us got caught up in what somebody else was pumping as a general truth because this is how they think, and we should all think how they think, basically. And you end up following those channels, and it's whenever you try to step out of it that you then become the focus of the attacks, and you realize because there's a lot of good people that follow these channels who do make shitty remarks and shitty comments, like, and they're probably decent people. They're probably, they probably have kids, you know, things like that. They're probably good people, and they don't realize that they've actually got sucked into something, and they're actually doing the work that has been set out for them to do without them actually realizing what they're doing. And all I want to be able to try and do is show people, look, you know, it's okay to think for yourself. All this nonsense about critical thinking, go and do your research and all the rest of it. No, see, the main thing is it's okay to think for yourself. It's okay to have your thoughts and have people disagree with them. If people want to disagree with you, that should be okay. You shouldn't. Ben blocked. What's your channel called? That you say I've got blocked. Anyway, the it's okay to disagree with people, and it's okay to think differently. You shouldn't allow people to sovereign. Did I block you or did somebody else block you? You were here earlier on, so somebody else must have blocked you. But if I'd have blocked you, I'd have said I blocked you. Like a blocked OG, but I'll unblock OG whenever I finish my stream. You said you were sovereign, Ben, because there was a channel, there was Sovereign 33 was in here earlier on. Anyway, this whole thing of I came off with a statement a while ago, right? Where about uh, Nefertruth USA, and I'll back that statement up. I have no problem backing that statement up. I made a video and I made people aware, and there's only so much you can do with that. And in the end, you have to you have to realize that the guy isn't breaking the law. Um, as much as what he's done is disgustingly heinous, unfortunately, because he's not breaking the law, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I made that statement. I've made people aware. I've brought it to the forefront. That's how I started things off. And at a point, I decided myself I can't continuously go around and keep on bleating on about Mr. Gunk and Netflix until they actually do something on YouTube that's breaking the law that you can lawfully get them removed from it. I didn't see really what else you could do. Um, because he has me all blocked anyway. I know that for sure. But OG, in his wisdom, saw that as me supporting him. You know, and I don't understand where that comes from. Like, I mean, there's a certain extent that you can take this to, uh, but at the same time, he throws stones that I'm supporting freaking, you know, net for truth because of pointed out the freaking truth, basically. And at the same time, he's not doing anything about it either. He stopped making, videos. He's moved on to, he's more interested in honeybees, um, Kids Inc. And that other couple who have a channel you talked about there the other night. You know, I get the point now where I don't care what other channels are doing anymore. I really don't. Apart from what once I get these few videos out that are to everybody to see, that's me. I'll be dropping that. And as I said, I want to start trying to do boots on the ground and show you friggin' places that actually do have historical relevance in all our histories, the people who are behind it, and because the thing with Northern Ireland and Israel are constantly compared with each other. Where they'll say, "Oh, it's not the same situation," but we were constantly compared with each other's situation, and one was used to promote the other. You know, People will always say now that they should look at Northern Ireland. It's had peace for 18 years or whatever, and you know, the Israelis need to take a leaf out of our book, etc. Well, before that, in the 90s, when Israel had agreed a treaty with was it Arafat? It would have been, I think, back then, and they let all the prisoners out. They were using Israel to tell everybody who were the politicians and the terrorists, paramilitary groups, etc., like that, that we should be taking a leaf out of the Israelis' books. And we've always been constantly compared with each other, you know, and it's basically the same kind of fight, if you know what I mean, but opposite ends of the spectrum. So, you know, Ireland in general historically has had a huge part to play in European history and American history. And I don't really think people realize to what extent that is. And that's something I think would be a cool journey to talk about. and go to places, do wee videos, take photographs, things like that there, little excursions, things like that there, because I had no interest in freaking all this other background bullshit that goes on YouTube, trying to freaking take down this channel or out this person or dox that person and all that nonsense. I never had that interest in the first place. Um, Unfortunately, I did get myself caught up in nonsense, uh, where you know, uh, i.e., in the beginning, with I would have been very sympathetic to Truth Convoy in the beginning because that was what was being pushed upon me by channels that I had a bit of faith in, a bit of trust in, that they were being straight. Soon found out that wasn't true. And I only found that out because, you know what, I actually listened to another person's perspective. And I thought to myself, I did the exact same thing that I did with the gunk video. I listened to somebody else's perspective and I thought, okay, I'm going to either disprove this or prove it. And that's what I did. And that made me realize that, whoa, yeah, Denise is not the victim. She's actually the stalker. But it is what it is. I mean, even now, she includes me in videos that I'm involved with some fucking gang, man. That's to do with her daughter being killed. Now, I'm sure that's an horrific experience or tragedy to go through. I understand that. But to bring it onto YouTube and to start using that as content for your channel, I don't know, man. It's a little bit twisted, disturbed for me. But people are entitled to do what they want to do. If that's what they want to do with their channel, so be it. It's whenever they start to bring others into their narrative. Um, I noticed her and Washam's Warriors are all of a sudden good friends. Well, folks, they were always good friends. Right at the beginning, I haven't the video up anymore, but right at the beginning, I seen uh, Truth Convoy with her anonymous avatar, in Washam's chat, and she was wrenched up, and Barry wasn't giving them wrenches just to anybody. And if you had followed Convoy's channel as well before Barry came along, she talked about a person in Missouri. Well, that's where you know Barry told us she was from. That's where she told everybody she was from. So I believe they were all cohorts together. That it's all drama to keep people entertained and to discredit this movement. Another angle people haven't thought about is as well when YouTube was going back. You go back 2, 3 years ago when the truth community was a lot more straighter, honest about things. I feel anyway back then. Um, you were getting a lot of information about things like Monsanto, things like like the vaccines that Lift the Veil's talking about now, things like that. There, you were getting information about 9/11. You were getting information about all this other stuff, and anything you see coming out now is kind of recycled stuff from that period. But I've kind of been wondering to myself, do you know what? If you were Monsanto and you've got this group of YouTubers on YouTube making videos about you, how would you handle it? Would you send out some provocateurs to break it up? Would you make channels? Would you send out people to make channels to, you know, muddy the message? Things like that. So, there's lots of different perspectives here where it's crazy. I don't, everybody goes on about government shells. I don't think so. Um, you know, I don't think so. I think that one's been played out. And I think, now here's another interesting thing. If you do a wee Google search on Australian military social influencers, yeah, do a wee Google search on Australian military social influencers, you will see that have been the Australian military have been using uh, YouTubers to influence others, and you'll see as well that um, the military, full stop, in various different countries have been involved with all this. Social influencers isn't just about some good-looking girl telling you that a perfume smells nice. You know, or yeah, this makeup stays on. You know, crap like that. So they get found out that they were doing it, and supposedly meant they have stopped it last year. But mm, I would doubt that's been stopped at all because when you look at there's a lot of documents online on YouTube that you can get them in PDF. In future videos here, I will be dropping links and things like that there, but I'm just giving you a bit of a brief picture. That when they talk about, modern warfare and stuff, it's not going to be in the battlefield. They're talking about it in social media. They're planning for it on social media. They view social media as being the next battleground. And when you think about it, you know, political persuasion is a powerful tool. You only have to look at all these, you only had to look back whenever Hillary Clinton never got into the office, and you watched all those millennials lose their shit, lost their minds. You know, it's political freaking persuasion, folks. That's what that is a result of, like, and that's what the next warfare is all about. It's it's on social media, and it's happening. It's happening anyway. It's happening around us now. That's what you're witnessing. You know, um, and that's what I'm going to show you. That's what's happening. Here's another wee thing that I've noticed. Um, Jason Goodman admitted Bernie Sanders supporter, socialist. George Webb, Bernie Sanders type of guy. You have Lift the Veil told everybody he was voting for Bernie Sanders. You had DeFango telling everybody that he worked on the Obama campaign. You had I found this one out recently. Random Ransavan, a delegate for Bernie Sanders. These guys are Bernie Sanders is a socialist, folks. I don't think these people portray themselves as being socialists, but you know. And it's just surprising how many of these people are so close. You know, they're close to and they run these truth channels, and I think there's a political thing behind it all, a political motive behind it all. I think uh, quite a few channels hit things up with the Pizzagate to hurt directly hurt the people, like the likes of Podesta and Clinton and all that there, to hurt that campaign specifically because of what Clinton done on Bernie Sanders. And I think that's kind of been a motive for some of these channels on YouTube. Could be wrong. It's just a thought. I'm not saying it's the gospel. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's a thought that's crossed my mind because there is definitely, without doubt, since Trump has went into presidents, took up presidency, we have seen a serious direction change on YouTube in the truth community. I mean, it is like a it's not even a 180, it's not a 90 degree. I don't know what the hell it is, but we have seen a serious change in the YouTube community and the topics, the content, and things like that there. So, you know, this is all stuff that I'm going to be talking about. I want to point out in future videos. And, you know, how social media is being used for political gain. And one of the interesting things that I do think is interesting about it is what Tommy Robinson showed everybody in that panorama documentary, Take Down Tommy thing that he did. I mean, I'm not that much interested in Tommy Robinson's message or anything like that. Though I don't really care about him in general, or anything like that. But I think it's fascinating what he uncovered and what he showed the world, and how everybody has you know crushed it basically. So you know, and I think just because of that guy's political persuasion or whatever, I don't think it should be suppressed. I really don't. Um, Said I don't agree with a lot of people, but if their message is true and their message is friggin' honest, man, it should be screamed from the mountains and everybody should know about it. As simple as that. So, but it's been a funny old time on YouTube. It's been a bit quiet. It's been a bit, and then it gets noisy. We've seen the rise of the 24/7 live streaming channels. So we have, uh, and that's an interesting thing again. And when you watch the video, you'll learn a wee bit about that as well. You know, start to put that in perspective on what's going on and why that is happening, why these have all just started to spread up. I just notice I don't bring people into my hangout. Um, Not unless there's something relevant that they want to share, but you know. So, yes, folks. On that note, um, has anybody got any questions before I go? I don't know what you mean by that, Ben. You suck. Uh, Toto, I've just been taken over. I've had to make a few lifestyle adjustments and things like that there. Trying to just get in the grips with that there, and you know, I have to eat healthy and crap like that. It's like what? Turn me into a damn rabbit, so they are. But doesn't stop me smoking though. Cigarettes. No, I'm doing a lot better, Toto. Thank you for asking. Yeah, that's another thing I've seen going around as well, being dropped in. Um, oh, I got lost there. You know? So, thank you, Toto. Sure, no, I still, I'll still slip on the old bit of soda bread and titty bread, Toto. I slip that in every once in a while, we fry. But so, folks, that's kind of what I'm looking at in the future. Now, crazily enough, I've talked about things in the chat, and I've noticed people are listening. When I say that, the people who are listening are the ones that you know your OGs and your Freddies. They listen to what and then they do. God, why is there so many people mad about Betty? Why be mad about Betty? Betty lost her channel. She's she's got less subs than me. So I find ironic. You know, I saw the video that Freddie put out there about Betty allegedly working with Dave T. Well, they said the same about me, and I knew that wasn't true. So I don't know if it is true or not. They didn't show any evidence it was true. Um, if does anybody know if that's true or what, or is that just another? Because I saw during the week, or maybe it was the week before, there was the Richard Clark video where Freddie asked him in the chat how much does do you get paid or something like that there, and he said aye, or something along those lines for being a mod in Freddie's chat, like. But I mean, there was no before and after context. I mean, it just kind of looked like a bit of a troll. Now, Richard and Freddie know each other quite well. They go back quite a way, you know. So, you know, I would have seen it more as a sarcastic comment myself. But Freddie, have a good one, have a good one, lady. I'm going to head soon anyway, so I am. It's getting close to my bedtime. Flipping, it's gone past midnight, so it has over here, and the old carriage changes back to a pumpkin, folks. But to the people that have sat and listened and all the rest of it, thank you very much. The people have come and took part in the chat. Thank you very much too, and I hope that you will stop by again. As I said, I hope that whenever I start doing this uh, boots on the ground dive in the Freemasons, that people will be interested in it and will, you know, hopefully clear up a few misconceptions that have been put out there, or will prove some of those truths that have been put out there that I'm not sure about. Maybe they are. You know, are they doing blood sacrifices? I don't know, but I'm going to try and find out. Sovereign, I'll unblock you. I'm not sure if you are blocked or what. I don't know what the story is there, but I'll have a look. Basically, the only ones that have been blocked here permanently are a couple of ones off Betty's channel whenever they first started coming around trolling me. There was quite a few that I blocked. You know, I don't like to permanently block people anyway. I've said it all along when I'm doing my live streams. Look, if you're going to come in and be an asshat with me, you're gonna get blocked from the stream and the story, but you will get unblocked. So you'll have a chance to come back the next time. And if you get blocked again, if you act like an asshat the next time, the same will happen. You get blocked. I give anybody three chances, third time, and you know, I'm not going to unblock again. Because you can't be any more fair than that. I don't want disruption. I want to try and keep the train of thought together. I mean, that's what it's all about. As we saw earlier on, OG and all complains about all this nonsense, but then he comes over here and does this. I don't go to his channel and do that. You know, simple as. But they feel the need to come over here and do that with me. So it is what it is. Who's spoofed confirmed? What are you talking about, Ben? Well, there's. Oh, that's not humanoid. So, who's the sovereign 33? See, why do people even bother doing this stuff? I mean, listen, all grown adults, man. I mean, I'm assuming anybody in this chat is over the age of 21. Like, why would anybody want to make soccer accounts up and sit and play stupid games? It's like, you know, I don't know. It mystifies me, but yeah, well, that's it, Kickstand. That's the only reason to disrupt the chat. To keep things. Yeah, apparently I'm blind, Sovereign. Uh, Jumanoid, whatever the hell that's pronounced. Yeah, and I know the skunk movement is because she told me she was Johnny Sweet. She told us that whenever she came in because she wanted her channel unblocked. I believe she's one of the ones that I've blocked permanently. I'm not sure, not 100% sure, of that, but I'll check it out. Well, I'm not interested in what other people are doing on other people's channels. End of story. Don't care anymore. Good night, Toto. Listen, folks, that's me. I'm done. I'll tell you what I'll do. Anybody who do have blocked full stop, I'll unblock them all. Even my buddy OG. I only blocked him for the stream because he was starting to annoy me. Annoy me to the point of he was disrupting the chat purposely. That's what was annoying me. So just I don't do that to them. So don't want it done to me. Anyway, folks, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming and sharing your time with me. And I hope to see you in the pretty near future. Uh, I will be streaming a lot more regular. Um, I will be putting up a second channel and a third channel that people can subscribe to if they want to, given how people like to take out channels. So, if you're one of the people that do actually like coming around here, you'll want to subscribe to my backup channel. Okay, folks, thank you very much. I will catch you all later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Adios, amigos.